Alrighty, we're going to move down into the activity codes. You'll notice that there is an A and a B code for each of the numbers there. All staff members are expected by the federal program and DSHS to do what is called parallel coding. In parallel coding, you code your time in the A areas as well as the B areas. You'll notice that in all of the A codes, they are non-medically related. The definitions in the 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, and 9 areas are all well identified in the time study sheet. No narrative is needed on the A codes. So anytime you do any of the A codes, we talk about parallel coding, we want you to put your time down, your tick marks, no narrative is needed, and transfer that information out to the right-hand column numerically. All right, let's move down to the bottom of the time study sheet to the 9B. I'm going to be giving you a scenario and outlining the activities and the correct narratives for these activities. I'm only going to be giving you a few of the activities and narratives. Please refer to the Quick Start Guide. There are a number of activities and other narratives that should be used in different situations as you go along, especially when it comes to special education, which we'll cover later. Okay, here's a scenario. Let's say a staff member has a medical concern about a student, so that staff member goes to the student's file, looks to see if there is something there regarding medications or any other counseling or medical issues in the past. You would put the tick mark for the time you spent doing that. Actually, from the time you left your room, you do it, you get back, you record it. This would be, the correct narrative would be collecting data regarding a potential medical concern. Collecting data regarding a potential medical concern. Whether you find something or not, you went with the intent that there was a potential medical problem there, so you're going to investigate that. The next thing is, whether you found something or not, you're going to consult with other staff members, administrator, counselor, health nurse, other teachers. That is also a tickable moment. And the narrative for that is meeting regarding potential medical concern or conferencing regarding a potential medical concern. Along the line, you find that there is something there, so you talk with either the student, especially when you have students who are older, out on their own, working, independently from their parents, or you talk to a student or a parent about this medical concern. Then the narrative on that would be contact regarding potential medical concern. At some point, we're going to talk about some other activities, 1B and 2B in a moment, but also included on the 9B area is on a time study day, as all of these are on time study days. Another narrative you might use is you have made the contact with a parent and you've talked about it, and this may have been a week or 2 weeks ago, but you've heard nothing back. You may do a follow-up contact regarding potential medical concern. This is always a good one to see if the person was, taking their medicine, if things got followed through on. This can be a very important narrative. Along with the follow-up contact, an important thing on the 9B activities, if you notice the 9B talks about a referral. In this case, we're talking about the staff member helping the student or the parent making a referral to medical services. This is when you might be working with a person and you actually help them make an appointment. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about a medical referral. All right, let's move up to the 1B area. On the 1B area, this is a very critical one. And the scenario I was talking about, we said that you were talking with a student or the parent regarding this potential medical concern, and you say something to the effect, have you considered taking your son or daughter to go see the ex-doctor? Maybe the pediatrician, maybe vision, dental, counseling, drug, alcohol, preteen pregnancy. All of these services are part of the Medicaid program. So the correct narrative here would be recommended medical access. And if you look at the description on the 1B on the time study form, you see the last words there says medical access. So you recommended medical access. There is another narrative, another activity that goes with the 1B. If they say something to the effect, well, we don't have any insurance right now, my husband's out of work, or a student says, I'm on my own, I don't have insurance, then you provide them with the information about the Medicaid insurance form, Apple Health for Kids here in Washington. That is also a 1B activity, and the narrative is provided Medicaid insurance information. Now look down at the 2B. It's pretty self-descriptive. If you are working with that student or the parent, you may be working with parents who don't speak English, so they need some help filling out the time study form, then you spend time helping them fill that out and referring them on to the local DSHS, Community Service Office. Then you're going to put a tick mark, record your time for that, and the correct narrative for that is assisted parent filling out Medicaid insurance form. If you're in elementary school, let's go down to 5B. There are times when coaches or school people do provide transportation for medical services. You would put that under the 5B category, transported student for medical services, and record your time there. So when we have counselors or health nurses, usually are the people who are working with outside agencies to improve coordination or delivery of services with these outside agencies. These are intended for training for buildings or for district-wide large groups. That is the 7B. If you're working with an outside agency on a single student, then that's a 9B. 8B trainings are very specific. They need to be done by a Medicaid provider. Please contact your consultant so that we can advise you on how those trainings need to be and who needs to provide them and the correct narrative for that training. Okay, to wrap up these B activities, let me reiterate something that I mentioned at the beginning of all this. The narratives I gave you and the activities were only a few. There are more activities, more narratives. Please refer to the Quick Start Guide. There are some activities specifically for administrators, special ed, psychs, therapists, such as including your related paperwork, staff members when you're doing emails related to potential medical activities or medical concerns, when you're doing clerical activities, when you have staff travel, which is necessary to perform these activities. All of these are also included in the 9B activities. Please, again, check your Quick Start Guide and feel free to contact your consultant regarding more specifics. Also, the JTEC University website has specific trainings and things for counselors and special ed. Please check those out also, as those activities and narratives will help you filling out your time study sheets. Alrighty, so we're going to wrap up how to complete the time study sheet for the final here. Remember, we said that the total time must add up to your contracted time, which you have in both those blanks down at the bottom. So starting at the bottom where you have the 9B, let's say that you have 4 tick marks. That would equal 1 hour. You'd go up to the 9A and say you have 2 tick marks. That would equal 0.5 or 1/2 hour. We go up to the 2B where we have 1 tick mark, so that is 0.25. We proceed on up to the 1B where we have 2 tick marks, which is a 1/2 hour, 0.5. At code 10, we have 3 tick marks, which is 0.75. That adds up to a total of 3 hours. Now we need to come up with a 7.5. Go up to your code 3. We say that code 3 is a wild card. Whatever time you need to equal the rest of your contracted time, that is going to be code 3. Okay, so we add up these totals of the activities in the areas below the code 3. Those total 3 hours. We need to have a total of 7.5 hours, so that means code 3 will be 4.5 hours. Now, just a quick note, in case some of you are looking at code 4, that is for counselors, psychs, therapists, health people who are doing direct medical services. They will put time in there, as well as code 3. Regular staff, teachers, most of your staff will be using code 3 and you won't use the code 4. Alrighty, you have all your time added up. It equals 7.5 or your contracted time. You're going to sign it, date it, turn it in to your supervisor, and you're all done. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, Be sure to check the Quick Start Guide. You'll notice there's contact information for all the consultants. Tom Reese with his phone number and email address. Scott Adolph with his phone number and email address. And Jack Hedgecock, my phone number and email address. You have any questions, contact your consultant that works with your district. They'll answer any questions, and good luck and have a good day. Thank you.